All right, guys, I'm going to show you the American twist. Take a look. See that ball twisting? This is the American twist serve. That one didn't get as much twist on there. Let me try it again. Here comes the American twist. There you go. I'm going to try one more. I'm really going to twist this one. Take a look. In today's video, I'm going to explain what the American twist is and how it relates to the kick serve or the topspin serve. So some of you guys are confused between these three terms: American twist, kick, and topspin. And I got to tell you, these are all the same serves. So don't be confused about these three terms, because all these serves are identical. And the way we generate spin or kick or twist on a serve is very similar to the way we do it from the baseline. So let's take a backhand, for example. And what's going to happen on a backhand, if we want to generate topspin, the bracket will have to move vertically over the ball, and now the ball is going to spin in this particular way. So on the same side of the body, for right-handers, the racket is going to be angled in this position. So it's not going to be possible to angle the racket the same way we would on a backhand, for example, and get real topspin. It's going to be what I call three-quarter topspin. And this angle of the racket face is what generates this three-quarter spin, and it is exactly the same on the twist, the kick, and the topspin. And to clear up the confusion, we can combine the term kick and topspin into one term. There's really absolutely no difference between these two terms. But the term American twist is different from the kick serve in a way this serve was delivered. So back in the day, and I'm talking tennis even before the Second World War, in the 30s, players would get topspin on the serve, but they did it in a different way than the players do it today, and they called it the American twist. And one possible reason for this was that this serve did not have as much power as the modern kick serve, and the ball didn't necessarily bounce very high, but it would twist to the side. And one characteristic of this American twist serve is that the swing path was very lateral. So the swing path wouldn't go forward like it does on a modern kick serve. You got to realize that the swing path on a kick serve is not completely lateral, it's actually diagonal. So the racket will meet the ball at this particular angle, and now the racket will continue to go forward into the court, imparting a little bit more power on the modern kick. On the American twist, however, the racket would completely move in a lateral way behind the player's body like this. So let me show you what that looks like. So on the American twist, the racket is moving completely lateral behind the baseline. And what happens with this type of serve is that the racket actually finishes behind the body like this. And if you want to see this serve in action, you can, for example, Google Fred Perry and check out his second serve. He would hit it in this particular way. The racket would go behind the body and it would stop somewhere around here. So let me demonstrate it one more time. I'm going to throw the ball a little bit behind my head and finish laterally across my body. So what is the American twist lacking? Well, it lacks forward momentum. Because we are hitting the ball behind the head, we are not able to get our body weight into the serve like we would on a kick serve, for example, because the modern kick serve will have a toss that's slightly inside the baseline, and players are leaning forward, and then naturally the racket will go more diagonally across the body. You got to remember that back in the day, the players were not allowed to leave the ground with both feet. So the serve lacked a lot of forward momentum because of that. But it's not only that. When we make this diagonal swing path happen on the kick serve, we do connect the ball to the string bed a little bit more and employ a little bit more force onto the ball, as opposed to a American twist where the swing path is completely lateral like this. This is more of a thin contact, so we're not quite able to generate the same amount of power. And this is possibly the reason why back in the day they didn't call this serve a kick, because the ball didn't really kick up very high. But because we're putting a lot of spin with this lateral swing path, the ball did indeed twist, and there's a possible explanation why the serve was named the American twist. So should you try the American twist serve? Absolutely not. You're giving up a lot of easy power that's generated with a modern kick serve. So this is not something that's ever going to come back. However, if you are a beginner, this might not be a bad way to get the feel of how a kick serve should work. So basically, what you could do is do a very similar serve to an American twist serve, where you basically stay in a stationary position and you just kind of get used to making contact towards your left and then having the racket go towards the right. So in the very early stages of learning a kick serve, this might actually be something that's okay to do. So a couple of things I want you guys to remember from this video is to stop confusing topspin and kick is basically the same thing. And American twist is really the same thing as the kick, but it's just something that had a lot less power and a different swing path, and it's a serve that doesn't exist anymore in modern tennis. So what you have to do, you have to learn a proper kick serve, and I'll give you a quick recap how to do it. What you're gonna do is throw the ball at least to 12 o'clock. You're gonna not rotate, you're gonna hold your torso rotation, you're gonna stay more sideways, and also you're gonna try to get into the court and stay kind of upright with your body. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna be able to generate kick on your serve. Take a look. Also, what I want you guys to remember when you're kicking the ball, it doesn't have to kick out towards the side. This is something that some players get obsessed over, and they end up double faulting a lot if they try to push that kick serve a little bit too close to the singles line. So it's actually okay to have a kick serve go very central into the box. If you put enough kick on it, the ball will still skip a little bit to the side, and your opponent will most likely not go for the winner. And guys, lastly and most importantly, I still see some American twist action at the recreational level. So there's some players that believe that the modern kick serve has a lateral swing path, meaning that the racket is traveling parallel to the baseline. This is simply not the truth. Now, if you take a look at slow motion of the best kick serves in the game, players such as Roger Federer, Sam Stosur, or Dominic Thiem, you're going to see this diagonal swing path. So the racket is very much indeed going into the court, just slightly. I always say this is going diagonally into the court if you take the baseline as a reference. So the American twist will have a parallel swing path, and the modern kick serve has a diagonal swing path. And this is the biggest takeaway from today's lesson. Do not force the racket to go laterally across like this. You will hit the ball very thin. You're not going to get enough height. You're not going to get enough power. So what you have to do is allow the racket to naturally move diagonally into the court like this, and you will get a lot more spin as a result of that. And when we talk about spin, this can be sometimes confusing because the American twist does have a lot of spin on the ball. So the ball is spinning a lot, but it's lacking a very, very important element of the serve, which is power. So with the modern kick serve, we can combine power and we can manufacture just as much spin as the American twist.